in Dallas? Favorite moments?
I have one if she's pausing.
Well,
Go sharp.
okay, 11 and a half years, every day was great, I have to say, in all honesty. I was so young when I started, 17, everybody was very protective of me, and we were so close. Larry Hagman and Patrick Duffy, though, were always goofing around. One time there was a scene where Sue Ellen had been drinking again and driving, and she pulled over the side of the road and passed out. And Bobby and Pam drive by, see her car, see that she's passed out in it. So Bobby's supposed to pick her up and take her in his car and drive her back to the ranch. So he goes to pick her up, and all of a sudden he just rips off his clothes, and he's got a Superman costume underneath, complete with the cape and everything. And Victoria Principal is like, what the hell? And then he just takes her away. He says, oh, it's a forgettable walk. And there was always just all kinds of jokes. Every one of our famous dinner or breakfast scenes, always we had food fights, and we just always had a lot of fun. We worked very hard, but we also laughed a lot. We also had a really great time. So, yeah.
And that goes back to the family aspect of the show, right?
Well, it's what Don said too about Happy Days. You can't. That is really one of the huge reasons of the success that made Dallas the phenomenon it was, because the chemistry.
Happened on Wagon Train. All my life growing up, I've been madly in love with Rhonda Fleming. And I think you all remember Rhonda Fleming, beautiful redhead with the beautiful eyes. Anyway, I found out one day that she was going to be our guest star on the show. And I was going to have a romantic scene with her and get to kiss Rhonda Fleming, which I thought was fantastic. I couldn't wait for that day to happen. She played a dance hall girl in this, and the scene takes place, what she's trying to do is she's trying to romance me to get her daughter's husband out of prison. And after the show is over where she's dancing, she takes me back into her dressing room, and we have this 2-page scene, just the two of us, and then she kisses me at the end of the scene. And she has this very, very low-cut gown on. And we went in, we did the scene, just two of us, and it took about 30 minutes for the shots to be ended, and they cut it, said print, and that was the end of it. We went to work the next day, and at lunchtime, the two producers came down and said, Robert, if you can get a break from the set, we'd like you to come up to the projection room and see the dailies from yesterday's shoot. And they don't generally do that. So I asked the director, and he said, no, you're fine, take off for a while. So we went in the projection room, the two producers and myself sat there, they put the film on. About 3 seconds into it, I understood why. Because not once during the scene did I look in her eyes. And I'm telling you, it was extremely obvious why. And it was very embarrassing. And I said, oh my God, what are we going to do? And the producer said, we're going to have to shoot the scene over again. And I said, oh, great. I said, now, what excuse are you going to give Rhonda that we're going to have to shoot the scene over? And he said, we're not going to give her an excuse. We're going to tell her exactly why we have to shoot it. And I said, no, you can't do that to me. And he said, well, we're going to. And the two of them got up and left the projection room and went back to the set. And I thought, oh, man, what am I going to do? What am I going to say to Rhonda? You know, I was so embarrassed. So I didn't even follow them back. I took my time, and I didn't even want to go onto the set anymore. But anyway, I walked on, and they were coming out of the set, going back to their offices, so I knew they had talked to her. Well, I went in another door, and I tried to avoid Rhonda as much as I could, but it's very hard to do on a set like that. And I finally made eye contact with her, and she went. And I thought, oh my God. So I walked over, she was sitting down. And I walked over, and she said, I understand we have to reshoot that scene we did last night. And I said, yes, I know. And I said, Rhonda, I'm so sorry. She said, don't say a word. I'm very flattered. And she got up and gave me a big kiss and said, I'll be happy to shoot that scene over again with you. I got out of that pretty good.
So now, if that film exists, that's DVD bonus material.
Yeah,
yeah they keep those outtakes. We had some dandy outtakes from Emergency with Julie London, believe me.
Have to make a call to Universal, I guess. Josie, favorite on-set moments?
From any show, right?
Any show.
Oh, boy. I'm thinking, I've got Charles in Charge on the ones, the DVD so far. Where do I go first? I was into his, I wasn't thinking, I was listening to his story, actually.
I have one.
Sure.
I'm shooting Lawman, and I know that Frank, Sammy, and Dean are shooting Ocean's 11 on stage 7, okay? I don't know any of them at this point. Well, they did know Dean, because I played tennis at his house. But the AD comes over, and he says, you have a call from Sammy Davis Jr. I said, are you sure? He said, yeah, he wants to talk to you. Okay. So I went to the set, the phone on the set, and he said, hello? Peter Brown? Yes. Sammy Davis Jr. here. I'm over on stage 7, and I hear you're about as quick with a 45 as there is, and I want to learn fast draw for my act in Las Vegas. When you get a break, would you come over and show me a few things? Yeah, I'll be right there, Sam, as soon as I get a break. So I did. I got a break, put my holster and gun on, loaded it with blanks, just in case something happened. I didn't know what to expect. I walk on the set, and it's the Sands Hotel lobby, absolutely duplicated, the casino. And there's Sammy, Frank, Dean, Richard Conte, and I think Peter Lawford, all standing around a craps table. Sammy's in a tuxedo, but he has his gun belt on. So I said, Sammy, and he turned around and looked right at me, and I said, draw! And he fumbled, and I went, pow, pow, pow! He took the shots right up on top of the table. Landed up on top of the craps table. And we became very fast friends, and I knew him all his life, and sadly had to bury his dad, bury his mom, and later Sammy. But close friends. So that was a very nice one.